Welcome to the In the Tank podcast. Get ready for an hour of hot 40k goodness coming in your ears. You're in the tank now, baby.
We're live!
We are indeed live! Welcome to In the Tank, episode 17. Wow. I say this every episode, I'm like, wow. As if, like, we made it, kids. We made it.
We made it. Was one of my mates the other day, he goes, well, actually, you're not live because it's pre-recorded. And I was like, well, fuck off. We're live on camera, you know?
Do it live. Also, it's just it's a great saying. Speaking of sayings,
it's stuck now. We're fucked. We're stuck with it. Yeah.
We're stuck with it. How you doing, my man? You okay?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Good.
Good.
Getting chillier in good old Blighty. Getting a bit colder now.
You got the DILF jumper on, so you'll be
I have. But it's a great excuse to spend all day painting and hobbying and doing your stuff. So if we're going to catch up with some hobby news, as always, we do have an announcement. What is the announcement, Ed?
The announcement is that we've got our very first special guest, and it's a banger. It's our boy Quipster. Some of you may know him from many of the things that he's either been on or his Instagram and YouTube, where he paints some incredible miniatures. He's got some lovely Imperial fists, which I've asked him for the color scheme for previously, and then looked at it and thought, "Fuck that, looks like too much work." But he does all the edge highlighting and everything. It's nuts. He's such a good painter.
I've known
we'll blow a bit of smoke up his ass, but yeah.
Like I've known Quipster for a long time in the community. Like, I haven't talked to him a crazy amount personally, but I absolutely love his work. I love that he's quite big in the Horus Heresy world as well. Like, he's got an absolutely phenomenal Emperor's Children army that looks ridiculous.
Stunning.
Like, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I also know him because he also played Custodes competitively at one point as well. So it'd be awesome to have a chin wag with him. We've got some really great topics for that. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Then we've got a couple more guests on the horizons, but as that'll be our popping our guest cherry, I'm kind of glad it's Quipster.
What a way to start. Do you know what? The first time I met Quipster was at LGT, probably like 2 or 3 years ago. He came up to me and offered me a chip, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Quipster." I was like, I've seen you online and stuff like that. And I took a chip. They were covered in sugar. Oh, the bastard. And I was like, why? It's such a weird thing to do. I was like, you motherfucker. I was really looking forward to that. And it was a sweet chip. I was like, what the fuck have you given to me?
But was he like completely straight with it? Was he like munching?
Yeah,
he
up until I ate the chip. And then he was like, and I was just like, you son of a bitch. So yeah, that was quite funny.
What a power move!
Yeah,
I'm gonna get on with this guy. This is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be good fun. So yeah, that will be coming. We'll see when we release it. It'll either be in between our usual schedule or something like that. I'm sure we'll figure it out. But it's coming very soon. So yeah, look out.
As a result, we're not going to get too deep into like what we've been painting or hobby news because we'll save that for chats with the lad. But I will say that I have had a delivery, Ed, of some absolutely
I know you have.
Insanely cool models. Yep. So Mesgeik Miniatures, formed in Sydney in 2022, apparently. One-person operation, but they have an amazing miniatures range concerning a lot of orky stuff, and I think you've got some guard stuff, but they're mainly known for their work on a project called the Dredge, and we have mentioned the Dredge on chat previously. And for anyone that can see this, sorry, our pod listeners, but this is the Lord of the Dredge. Look, he's got like little octopus feet, and there's like poxwalkers in his base there that are like basically clawing out. So I'm going to put some resin in there. Oh my god, Ed! Seriously, the detail is absolutely unreal. It came together so well. It just like Legoed together. The resin is really strong and not brittle, because sometimes I do worry when I get like third party miniatures that I get them and they just snap really fast.
Yep,
and I'm like,
I've had that before. It's really annoying.
But no, it's like mega malleable and just awesome. So I've got him, and I've got 6 Death Shroud Dredge.
Oh, And they're so great right now. So that's going to be beautiful.
This is it. So I might be playing a bit of Death Guard next year.
You need to stop with these fucking hobby projects because you're like going in all directions. You truly are the Chaos Star currently.
Well, to be fair, the Death Guard, half of them are painted. So and they're all made or at least base coated. So actually, it'll probably only take me like a couple of months to get that to a tabletop tournament standard. So
which isn't too bad if you think that you've only really got like all the Dark Angels, all the Sisters, all of the Chaos Space Marines to go in front of those. You've also got Grey Knights.
Yeah,
but they look like they were painted, were they? Oh, and Tau. Fucking hell, you need to simmer down.
Six factions.
That's a lot. That's a lot of factions.
Yeah. It's not really though. We're hobbyists.
What are you working on right now?
You can't say nothing. Like
I can't say nothing. I've got more than that.
You're a little hoarder. I think this is just deflection, where it's like, look at the big hairy guy with all of his armies, and inside you're like, oh fuck, I better not bring too much attention to me.
I've got behind me in all these boxes.
Exactly. Either way, I wish I had more Dredge in my life. I want more Dredge. So go online, check them out. I just wanted to give them a shout out because they're cool. I really want their Demon Prince, which is like a big manta ray guy. He's just
I've not seen him yet.
He's so cool. He's cool. I was like,
I've seen their Playburst crawlers, and those are really cool. They've got like these sort of like screw treads, which are just amazing. It's such a cool idea.
Same with their rhinos, same with their predators and stuff. They're literally got like the entire Death Guard army as like, and essentially the aesthetic is like Bioshock. It's basically if Plague Marines were underwater, right, and infested by marine life.
It's so cool.
Dude. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun.
One of my favourite sort of like 3D printed lot of models. Really incredible. I think RTLW are also really good. They do some really cool stuff as well. But I've actually got an RTLW mini. I've got one of the what are they called? The possessed dude that old Inquisitor Eisenhorn has. Like a demonic.
I've got him too. Cherubriel.
Yeah, he's so cool.
Cherubriel, the Demon
Host.
Host.
Very cool model. Yes, Demon Host, that's the one. Yeah. My old man brain just can't remember anything these days, sorry.
It's because you're a Necron. You need to download it into the next body.
Yeah, it's all corrupted. It's like memory banks corrupted.
But yeah, essentially, there's a lot of great 3D.
We touched on this in the previous episode.
Third-party minis. Yeah, dude, go and listen to it. Cool it's weirdly our least popular video, though, so whatever. I don't know what that says about.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but there you go.
It's an early one.
But we might have to talk about that again retrospectively, but all good.
We will at some point, no doubt.
Indeed. Right then. So, to scarper on to our first topic of today, and this one, I'm just like getting put into the chair because I know for a fact we're going to have like opposite opinions here, which is fine.
Yes, we are. We're going to have a fight. Good old
because I taunt you about this all the time, and like no shade. And in actual fact, there's a lot of people in various communities associated with a lot of people that I'm about to talk about that have been incredibly kind to me and also this show. So I just want to make a prerequisite before I like go into this that I actually am extremely thankful for your support and everything else. But let me just destroy all of your hopes and dreams. No, so I don't know when this started, and I think it really started with Vanguard, right? But we're going to be talking about the rise of coaching within the community and teams, as in like gaming teams associated with Warhammer or tabletop wargaming. How do we feel about them in general? And you know, so when did you first start noticing coaching / teams in the hobby, Ed? Like when was that a thing for you?
I think it was Vanguard Tactics for me. It was during lockdown when Steve Box was doing loads of it was actually really cool. He was doing like loads of almost like sort of short form content where he was basically just talking about factions or whatever. And I just listened to loads of that. I was just digesting it. And then I found out about the Academy through that because obviously he was sort of pushing that. And then I joined his Academy, and then I've talked about this in a previous episode, but basically I worked quite closely with Steve for a little while, which was really interesting to see like behind the scenes and how all of the coaching stuff worked, because it was quite early on. It's like 4 years ago. So I think that was the first one. I think Art of War were probably going at about the same sort of time as well on the American side. And there are other coaching services, but since then, it seems to have just proliferated. There are loads of them now. A lot of just the top players offer individual coaching services, as well as top teams offering coaching services. So it's it's gone big. It's a big business now, and obviously Vanguard Tactics has expanded massively since then. So it is a thing that I've had a good sort of dive into in the past, and to be honest with you, like when me and a few other people joined Vanguard Tactics or VT, like those few years ago, it was definitely helpful. Like we learned a lot, but I think the main thing that we sort of realized was that actually just playing the game a lot, especially against good opponents, was all you really needed to do to improve. But I do think that those academies and courses and that sort of stuff are useful for two types of people. One is complete beginners who aren't very confident or aren't confident enough to go to their first tournament, or aren't confident enough to sort of really, play their armies properly, and they kind of want that little just boost of confidence to say, you can do this, this is, and these are some of the hallmark things to look out for, or whatever, that can be really helpful for new players. And I think that Vanguard Tactics does a lot of that to this day, and I think it's really helpful. The other type of coaching I think that's really useful is if you are either a top player or a wannabe top player, you're close to the top tables and you just want to push yourself that little bit further over the edge. Because I know one of my close mates has quite a lot of coaching with top players, and he'll go around and speak to people like Liam VSL, Anthony Vanella, all of these guys, and have coaching, Manny as well, Manny Chima, and go and have one-to-one coaching sessions with them. And obviously, if that's something you can afford to do, then, and you really want to win events, that's great. That'll help push your game up, because those are incredible players. You'll learn a lot from them. So those are the kind of two levels of coaching that I think are the most appropriate. I also do see the converse. So I think you should probably talk about this before I monologue for too long. So go on.
Yeah,
jump in.
I think how I feel about coaching and how I feel about teams, although ironically I've poked more fun of teams over the course of our episodes than not. We'll discuss teams in a minute, because I think they're two slightly different conversations, right? Coaching. How do I feel about coaching? Again, you've highlighted some really good points. If you want to up your game to that next standard of play where it becomes, uber tiered, right? And you want to know about those really sharp plays to make you just better in general. And also, 40k is really complicated, right? Getting into it sometimes feels like a bit of an impenetrable wall at times.
Yeah.
But for me, you kind of alluded to it right off the bat, right? There is no substitute for me than being part of a community and finding players of a similar sort of experience to yourself, or better, which is better, which is actually better for you.
Better, yeah.
And kind of getting your ass kicked and having that humility to take a kick in.
Yep.
And understand that you're probably going to lose way more games than you win to start off with.
Yeah,
and just try and learn every single time. Now, I'm not one of these old school of hard knocks kind of people. I'm a teacher in my everyday life as well.
Yeah.
A music teacher. But for me, I think it just becomes a little bit navel gazy, where I don't know, you can over intellectualize something a little bit, where it's just fucking go out and play. Just go out there, play. Maybe in addition to, and I'm sure it's part of the bigger breakfast of being a hobbyist who would pay for a service like that, right? But
yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm a little bit cynical of it. Dude, I respect the hustle of earning a living by having a speciality in a subject that you're very good at, and to your credit, Vanguard and stuff, you guys are always at the top tables, and you perform extremely well for obvious reasons, right? But for me, it's part of that esports culture and stuff like that, which I'm not a massive fan of, if I'm honest. Esports culture in general, and this whole concept of coaching, and this whole Cobra Kai-esque kind of vibe to it for me. I'm just fuck no. I don't know. It's all a bit manosphere for me, and it's just not my vibe, if I'm honest. So go out there and play. Go there and play better. If you're not of the personality type to take a kick in, then you shouldn't be playing the game, quite frankly.
I do think that like on that note, it's quite an interesting point because you can learn a lot from just playing better people than you, but it's doubly a learning point if you can get those players on board with the mentality of your game from the get-go and help you learn from your mistakes. They don't need to play the game for you and like basically help them beat themselves, but what they want to do is when you've made a mistake, they want to look at it and go, right, do you think that was the best possible play you could have made there? Or actually, what about this you didn't consider? Or maybe you should have rapid ingressed here. And then like when you get to the end of the game, just having a little chat with them. I'm sure most people will do this with you as well. Just have a little run over the game and go, what do you think I did right? And what do you think I did wrong? Like that can really just help you improve as a player on top of what you're obviously going to learn. Because if you see that you've done a major fuck up and you got like overwatched and you lost the whole unit, that's obvious to you. But there are some things that might not be so obvious, subtle positioning and things like that. That you could have done. So those are the things to ask players if you do.
And you don't know what your opponent's thinking in real time, right? Where they might be like going, "Oh shit, I hope they don't do that," and they might do it, they might not do it, and then you're like, "Oh, like missed a thing there, right?" And it's like,
we've all
unless you're doing a non-competitive game, you're not going to like highlight that and be like, "Look, you can really fuck me over here by doing this." Do you know what I mean? Like you'd have to be a really benevolent player in order to bring that up. But then saying that, whenever me and you have a non-competitive game per se, although, do you know what I mean? Like, we're really cool about it, actually. Like, we tend to be quite groovy. And, like, our relationship whenever we play a game is like, right, let's have a great game and let's try and like, improve our game by learning stuff. Do you know what I mean?
You're almost like on each other's side, right? You know?
Yeah.
You want to kind of make sure that you're having the best game. But, like,
which is why for me... carry on.
No, you finish your point.
No, which is why for me I don't understand the core concept of a coaching per se. Is like that's kind of been for me a culture of the hobby forever. It's not like a sport that every time you like clock in, like you're like maim the enemy, let's go. It's like that's not it. Like this is like a friendly toy soldiers game.
Yeah,
it is.
We've talked about this before. You need to make sure that the fun is the focus, right? And I think a lot of people, when they get too far down that competitive track, can kind of lose that sometimes, and they can just put too much ego onto the win, and it gets a bit treacherous. But like going back to teams, I do think that there has been a lot more crossover between teams and coaching services recently.
Yeah,
you've got people like Vanguard Tactics who obviously are first and foremost a coaching team, as coaching service, really. But they also have a wider team, and a lot of their sort of students join the team, and they also have other top players who will join the team, etc., etc. And that, that's absolutely fine. Like that's part of their business model, right? And I think that looking at that, like absolutely. Steve, obviously, he wants these top players to be playing for him because they probably act as coaches. In fact, I know some of them do. They also give him good results at tournaments, which makes Vanguard Tactics look better, attracts more people. Because if you can see that they've got like X person playing for them and they're getting top results, you're going to think, well, these are the guys to learn from. Makes total sense from a business perspective.
Proof is in the pudding, right? Proof is in the pudding by performance. But
then you also have two other kind of types of team. You have like local teams, like there's people like the Leeds Salt Miners. They're just a group of war gamers from Leeds. Yeah. Their team is them because they all sort of know each other locally, right? And then you have other types of teams like Try Hard Wargaming. We are like a community first with a team that we go to events together. We all play under the same hood, as it were, and we work together, and we're doing really well now. We're actually top 5 in the UK now, which is a bit of a belter. Wow. We've actually just overtaken said Vanguard Tactics for the first time. Shots fired, but no, it's all friendly bands. But it is. So I think that you need to sort of like see what kind of team you're in, and I think there is different things. I know you're not a big fan of the wanky team shirts with all the esports logos and all this sort of shit.
Fucking hate it.
I kind of get it. It also makes me very easy to spot at events. That's the nice thing for us. Like we wear our team shirts to represent, and also because then I can go, there's one of our guys, there's one of our guys or girls. So
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? It's very subjective. I just think the design of the vast majority of these fucking shirts are horrendous. I'm so
ours
sorry.
is
Like,
pretty
who
simple.
am I?
It's just literally
Like,
red and white or red and black.
Look at me, man. This is a man that would wear like a full-on purple coat on stage.
It's like the dodgeball guys when they come in, like.
Yeah.
So, they've all got the stupid Legos.
It's just so fucking lame. I don't know. It's just not my taste at all.
No, it's not your jam, is it?
And it just looks too sporty and too I'm just like, grow the fuck up. No, but I do appreciate being part of the tribalism of a team and helping out your team, right? And you could argue that that's coaching too, right? But for me, the coaching bit is the monetary element of it, right? That is very distinctly different to the team bit, because the team bit is a bit more tribalistic, where everybody's focused on helping your internal team better. And there may be some admin fees or whatever, but not in the same way of and I mean this in the nicest possible way, the borderline culty behavior of coaching or whatever, right? Which, no shade, but
you've also got cult personalities in a lot of those teams that lead them, so you do get a cult following naturally.
And it does seem like an Olympian level, we're up here, you're down there vibe, which is never my fucking thing. I'll always call a spade, and if you're a dickhead to me, I'll tell you you're a fucking dickhead. But my point is that not saying that anybody associated with any of these various people are, I'm just saying. But my point is being part of a local gaming club or something is very different, where it's you're there to support everybody within your gaming club, and it's completely there. And I get that. I totally understand, right?
Yeah.
And maybe one day when I'm a bit more daddy or whatever, and I who knows, maybe one day I'd join the team. But I'm a moody Dark Angels boy. I like my independence. I want to be flying solo, and it's so oh, you don't understand. But I'm just I want to be on my own. Get fucked, everybody.
No, that's fair enough,
fine.
Mate. You do you. And
that's me. And that's me.
It's important.
If I ever do join a team, that would be the highest accolade I could ever give that team. And loyalty is its own reward.
I look forward to that one day.
Well, who knows? Maybe. But fuck off, am I wearing a crappy shirt? You can get fucked.
But I think there's the one other thing I wanted to touch on with the coaching aspect of it is that some people just don't have local people to play with. Some people don't have the local hobby store or people that play Warhammer in their area. And I do think that for those people, especially Tabletop Simulator, which we've talked about briefly before as well, that's a great tool for learning the game because you don't need anything. You can play it online. You literally just need a computer and an internet connection, which most people have nowadays. So that's fine. And I think that that's a really good way of doing it. And I do kind of get that aspect of it. Again, a lot of people fucking hate the idea of having to pay for coaching, especially basic coaching, because they're you're just basically reading me the rule book, which a lot of that is basically reading me the rule book. I agree
with that, though. I do agree with that.
You should be able to do that yourself, right? And if you can't, you're probably kind of fucked anyway. But I also understand the appeal to have that in a bite-size, easy to digest form. That's why people watch Auspex Tactics videos, is because they want that nice bite-sized little, snippet of information that they can just digest straight away. And if that works for them, we can't really knock them for it.
No, I know, but my thing is I'm Mr. Old Man Hobby, where and I'm sure people associated with coaching were also Old Man Hobby as well, but it was a different vibe back then, man, where it's you just want to help people because you're benevolent, and I get it, and you do the hustle, man. If you're earning a money from if we could earn money from doing this and this could be our day job, fucking hell, I think we'd bite the head off it. But it's hard, man. It's on one hand I respect it, but then on the other hand I'm fucking hell, would I recommend it to anyone? Absolutely not. I just wouldn't. No. I'm sorry.
I do agree with you.
You're part of a team, get on it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I do agree with you. I do think if you can just have people to help you out from the goodness of their heart, and you get that community vibe and help each other like we do in our team, etc. That is the best way. Because it's free, you make friends, you gain better relationships, and if you're playing better players than yourself, you're going to learn and get better at the game eventually. So that is definitely the apex way to get good at this game, for sure. I do think that obviously for those that can't do that, then coaching is there as an option, or they don't want to do that for whatever reason.
No,
but I agree. It is the old school way is definitely the most fun as well.
And it reflects the community better, in my opinion. Like it's
just nice, just make friends and roll some fucking dice together at the end of the day. That's what it's all about, right?
But by that same token, if that's your jam, I'm not. No shade, zero shade whatsoever. But there we go. Skip forward to a year. It is. Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
It splits the community a lot.
Yeah, and some people can get really viscerally and really venomous about it, and that's not where I'm at. Like I'm genuinely not. Like people can take it really personally and get quite affronted, and that I don't agree with. Like if people have a speciality that they've dedicated a lot of their life to, then okay, they should get money for it. But like for me, it's the principle of it that I don't agree with, and that's just me. But who knows? Skip forward to a year and it's like Russ is now part of Tryhard. I'd be like, oh, fuck.
Fuck you, idiot. I've never pressured you to join, to be fair. So
no, and that I respect.
Yeah.
Buddy. But just let me be a moody dark angel. I like that eighth party member in a JRPG, the moody one that only joins right at the end of the game.
They come up to you and they're like, "What's your name?" And you're like, "Lord Edge." The ultimate edgelord. I'm moody and dark.
See, I thought you were going somewhere else because that means something else.
That also does mean something else. I'm in the corner edging. I've been edging for 8 seasons of this campaign. He's going to just fight the final boss and just blow. Fuck me, right.
Anyway, back on track. But that was a cool topic. I'm glad we discussed that. And if I've insulted anybody associated with any of those organisations, fuck you. No, I'm sorry.
I knew you were going to say that. I just
I just needed to be honest, and you deserve my honesty.
I think that's the best way. We're all about honesty, like honesty first and foremost here, right? These are our opinions at the end of the day as well. So everyone's opinion is valid, apparently.
And speaking of opinions, we have another opinionated thing, although a lot more light in terms of this. And using the power of studio trickery, Ed will put on some pictures of these various sculpts, which is really cool. So we're going to have some editors of editing.
Yeah, and also for those of you listening, we're going to put a little sort of not a Dropbox, but like a little paste bin or something of the pictures, just so you can click the link and have a look at them as well.
So we're going to be discussing the most cursed sculpts, our favourite cursed sculpts, aka the weirdest, grossest, most fucked up, shittest sculpts that GW has ever produced. And these are fantastic. Like, these are great. So do you want me to go first or you to go first?
You go first.
Cool. I'm going to make a very quick one. It's not one of my main 3, but I just want to flash this one up quickly. This one is my most favourite, but is not necessarily related to what we're talking about, which is Nagash from Fantasy. Like, this guy is like a meme. Like, he's just like the
His
OG
model,
skeleton boy.
Yeah.
The new one's beautiful, but the old one, like the 90s one, considering how powerful Nagash is in Fantasy, oh my god, that sculpt is, quite frankly, gash. It's not Nagash, it is gash. He's like he's Skeletor, but like chunky, and he's got like
one of those like proper like
the
Dias de Muertes. I just butchered that. The Day of the Dead, sort of like skull head, and it's just great. I fucking love that.
But my actual first choice is our original. It's going to be the cherubs. Any cherubs from any time period of like Warhammer history, like old ones from like the early 2000s to like modern ones that have just come out. Fucking hell, they're so ugly. They're so ugly. I kind of love them.
We're going to share a picture of this, but there's one that's just like an old man cherub. Like, he's just like an old man baby. It's the fucking weirdest shit. Like, he just looks like a fat aristocratic businessman from like the 70s, like a mob boss. He's like, hey, I got you melter bomb, boss.
Jumping a cigar, like, He's like,
the name's Falcone. fucking ridiculous.
I give you a amount of bomb you can't refuse. Like, God, they're ugly as fuck. Like, they're so freaky. Do you know what was so funny? During the Space Marine 2 players, right, that had no new ones that are like getting into the hobby, right? And I've seen loads of funny videos of this. We're like hanging out in the environment and there's cherubs and they're like, what the fuck is that? Like, what is that? Like, what is that thing there? It's like,
I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you the noise it makes.
But like, and they are the freakiest thing. And like, just moving one around the table is just like eerie. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, what am I doing?
Yeah, the weirdest models. They're great. That's
painting them as well. Painting them is like, I'm literally painting a sort of dead baby's ass here. Do you know what I mean? Or something all wings. And you're like, oh, this is my hobby.
Talking
this
about
is what I do.
mob boss vibes. So my first
I don't know where you're going with this.
Is the fucking old school, not the new one, because he is one of my favorite models in the game, but the old school Gene Stealer Patriarch. Holy fuck. He looks like a sort of fat, like, you know, like sort of English, you know, just rotter, just sat on this bony throne, and he's got all these weird like banana fingers, and he's just like, and he's just got this like, it's just the old school Gene Stealers in general. In fact, I'll put a picture of another one, like just the old school Gene Stealers. They are the weirdest fucking sculpts.
Weird.
They've got these weird heads. They're all fat and just the oddest thing. They don't even look half Tyranid. They just look bizarre. I know that they kind of retconned a lot of stuff with old Gene Stealers, but Jesus Christ almighty.
Not to put my political cards on the table, but he just reminds me of your average Tory MP, quite frankly.
They're just awful. It's the banana claws. They just get me, like, and the big foreheads and like the derpy tongues and mouths. They just look awful. They are one of the worst.
That was the same model range that you had, like the limo, right? As well, like the Rogue Hobby, like limo for them as well. Yeah. That Gene Stealer cult's like army was cooked, bro.
So mate, the whole thing. Like, if you turned up with that on the table, you'd probably be like, "What the fuck is that? Is that like third party or what? What is that?" We're rocking up to the club in our limo, and the patriarchs at the back, like, "Hey, ice that fool."
Oh, great, dude, love it. I'm glad. I'm so glad you chose those. Because I was kind
That's
of like,
a real cursed model. That genuinely,
so
the
cursed,
whole range was
so
cursed. Yeah. Awful.
Speaking about a whole range that's cursed, although some of the more modern versions of these are a little bit better, but considering how fucking tough these guys are, the OG Catchup, like,
oh my God.
Imperial Guards. I don't think you realised how bad these were until you zoomed in, right?
So they are in the same realm for me as the old Space Marine Scouts. They're just like all jawlines and like the weirdest faces. They're just bizarre fucking models.
I mean, look, right. You'll see them on screen now, but the craziest thing is like you can still buy these.
Yeah, you can.
You can't buy the Patriot.
I think they're getting new kits, aren't they, soon?
Who knows?
I think they are. So. I think they were hinted. Or I fucking hope they are. Jeez.
But the fact that you can buy these, you can log on to Games Workshop right now and buy these is awful. Like
in October 2024. Just to let you know.
Yeah, but their arms are so roided as well. There's like nothing. They're just like. Bruh. They're just like
it's literally like somebody just like got all the guys from the Expendables and then just got their 5-year-old child to make them out of clay, and that's it pretty much. They just look, it's a product of its time, right? You know, we can't shit on the designers too much, but
when it came out, I'm sure it was amazing, right? But like, it shows its age now.
It's the eyes, you know, those like Space Marine eyes where they're like one in the corner and one like down here. It's those kind of eyes as well.
But
like,
they're painted by heavy metal painters. Like,
I know.
Heavy metal painters. Imagine your average Joe painting those. So bad.
It's diabolical.
So bad.
Things have changed a lot.
Goddamn.
Yep, they have.
What about you, bro? What's your last one?
My next one is a bit of a controversial one, but I'm a Death Guard collector as well, right? And for the longest time, I was like, I really want a fucking Demon Prince, but the one that's official is, first of all, fine cast, and second of all, it looks like someone's just shoved something up its ass. Like, it's got this huge bulging eye. Like, it just looks ridiculous. Like, its sword's really cool, because it's got like this big flat kind of like, corpse maker with all these chains hanging off of it. But its face is just the derpiest fucking model's face I've ever seen. And it just looks stupid. So it's like, if you're watching, and I just think it's cursed. And I made my own demon prince. I converted an Abaddon. I'll try and put a picture of that in there as well. But that, like,
I want it. Can you give it to me, please, Ed? I want it.
Give it to me, baby.
It's my birthday. I want it.
My precious.
To be fair, I'm probably gonna get the Dredge demon prince, but I've already got a demon prince anyway. But like, my God, that demon prince's ass. His face is the bit that I hate the most.
It's just his
like,
neck as well. It's like,
it's just like
so
derpy. Weird looking.
Yeah.
So weird looking.
Really,
and I think, to be fair, that came out before the refresh of Death Guard, right?
No,
like,
it did.
That was when I think it was like in 3.5/4 when like Death Guard, you had like a upgrade sort of thing for like your regular Chaos Marines, and they just didn't have any ranges at all, right? And now look at them. I would argue that actually the Death Guard range is one of the nicest out of all of the Heretic Astartes ranges.
I also want to give an honourable mention here while we're at it. The new Demon Prince model is beautiful, right?
I love it.
And it's got cool head options. But the Nurgle head option is just like, it's so weird. Because, I love the head, but the rest of the body doesn't match it. It's like a big fat Nurgle head, and then you've got this ripped AF Nurgle Demon Prince, and it's like, they need like a belly option, like, they need to make it like a, just don't know.
See, no, I would respectfully disagree, because my concept for that, because I've got one of those, is that it's a famished Demon Prince.
Oh, okay.
So he's
You've made your own lore up because the model's so shit.
Well,
right,
in the lore,
fuck
off. But in the lore, not everything Nurgle is actually bloated. Some are really thin and scant because they're like famishly hungry, or they're like plague, and they're eaten by plague in a way that
I love all the other heads mostly. Like the Tzeentch one is really cool, like the bird head, and I'm also a big fan of the corn head. I think they fit really well. The other two I'm not as hot on. But
no, I will respectfully disagree. They
got tails as well.
Nurgle head on that one. They got tails. They got tails. But we can agree that OG Nurgle Demon Prince is ass, and he looks like he's smelling ass because his face is just like. Oh. Mm-hmm. There we go. See, on a similar third ed Chaos Astartes like level, I have got and this is my favorite, most haunted sculpts. These guys are fugly, fugly. The
they
OG
really
Noise Marines. We're going back to like second ed sort of thing. Oh God, they're so bad. They're so bad. There's like one with the speaker in his mouth, but like his whole mouth is like that. And he's like, whoa.
I could see where their hearts were when they made the models. They're actually like going down the right track with all the guitars and stuff, but they just look derpy again.
Derpy. They got weird backpacks with like the starry
speakers
things
and all the spikes coming off them.
They're just so OTT. They're just so like over the top weird. And I think that's why I was never really massively into Chaos in my early days, and I'm kind of having a Chaos rejuvenation in the modern era, because all of like the old Chaos Marines kind of looked a little bit like that, where they were really over the top and almost like, no disrespect because I love this artist, but too Blanchy, where it's like John Blanchy, where it's just like
Blanchity,
it's so over the top of like D&D horrible, grotesque body horror, where it just looks horrible. Like obviously, like the modern kits, like the Possessed and stuff are like that, but A, they're the Possessed and the most gribbly, so they should look like that.
Yeah.
And B, the actual models look like incredible. Like they don't.
The new Possessed are
to the point where I want like 30 of them. But like,
I know you do.
But those back then, it's kind of like they were almost like doing that for every single model and turning it up to 11. And there's like no subtlety anymore, and it just looks
it was like too far
over
gone.
the top.
Yeah. And it brings me into my final pick, which is another one of the models from that same kind of time period, and it's the old Chaos Space Marines Obliterators. First of all, they're just normal man-sized and they're on like 25 mil bases, which just looks ridiculous. And second of all, like one of them is like the OG. Do you remember like we were talking the other day about ball gag Lamates, right? He's got like a proper like ball gag in his mouth, and the other one looks like he's got something else going on somewhere, because his face, when you see this picture, it's like someone's just fired something up his ass, because he's like like it's even worse than the Death Guard Demon Prince. That's the level we're talking about. They're not great sculpts. I saw what they were going for. Pretty cool idea, but they just, like, the new ones are beautiful. I wish they had like 6 varieties of the new ones, because 2 is not enough in my opinion. I think
they need a multi-part. They need a multi-part kit there where you can choose the different weapons and stuff.
Oh, so
I love an obliterator. I love an obliterator. The concept
great
of
concept.
Them.
Yeah,
the concept of them that they're like a sort of like
biomechanical.
And they're like demon engine. That's it, and they're like forming guns in real time.
Yeah, they just sort of like reconstruct out all of this like biomechanical sort of metal, and they just like make cannons and just turn into fucking different weapons.
And actually, we're used to like that modern concept now, but obviously back in third, where those original like obliterators came out, like I remember them coming out new in like White Dwarf. I literally remember reading them, and like that was a new concept back then. And like in terms of the concept to model, that's great, right? It's just the execution is terrible. Just the execution looks so bad, and just like
it's again another kit that's just been like upgraded now.
Yeah,
so good. Yeah,
no,
they're on a 25 mil. 25 mil.
Are they? Oh my god!
I think they were. Yeah,
dude.
They're tiny. Like those bases are coming off the edge of them. It's ridiculous. It's just
Imagine that, because they would have been metal.
Yeah,
right. So imagine trying to balance those fuckles.
You'd have to glue like weights in the bottom, otherwise it'd be over every 2 seconds. I used to hate that. I'm so glad we moved away from the era of pewter models. Oh, they were the worst. I just refused to get any after a while. So I just hated them.
Yeah, I mean, some of the smaller scale ones aren't so bad with the bigger bases and stuff, but anything past anything, burn them all. Anything past
you drop them and their arms
and
everything just fly off every time, and you're just like,
no. Dude, no, but also, like, when you're talking about, like, how you did original Bloodthirsters and, like, Demon Princes and, like,
you had to pin
anything
them.
big, or Dreadnoughts,
right,
that were all
pin
metal. It's just, like, pin them. Like, pin them? Like, get out.
Pinning
like,
pewter models.
No.
I'm out.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Right.
No, me too. What are your most cursed sculpts?
Yeah, let us know. Also, like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh, we missed it! We missed
42 minutes in. Don't worry.
No.
Cheers, guys.
We're going back to the old days. We're going back to the old days of like just like not having it, not having it at all. Just being like, oh, whatever. Yeah, call to action. Please, if you enjoyed our cursed sculpts, honestly, call to action. That's what they call it in the.
No, it is. It is. It's just funny.
But please, honestly, we had some really great feedback of late. Like, we actually love it when you comment on us, because we will respond individually. So it'll either be me or Ed, and we will respond with who responds to you.
I promise to start writing my name on the end of my comments now as well.
Yeah, I do, and I'm just like, do it.
Russ keeps telling me off. I keep forgetting.
I do. But like, you could get one of us or both of us. But please interact with us. Let us know Please let us know what your favourite sculpt is. We'll probably do this again, because this is really fun.
Sculpts,
this is mega fun.
Because there are some. There's loads out there that we've not even touched on. Like a couple of the old commissars and stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, there's loads. It's going to be great. Just let us know. Link us a picture or something. Yeah, that's great.
Speaking of For the Emperor, we'll do our final topic, which is kind of like, which is kind of a lore-based thing, because we relate it to the lore as well as like what we're actually talking about. But you found this a really weird concept when I sent it to you.
No, I didn't. It's just you didn't explain it very well.
So. Oh, look at that sting! You just stung me. You just like went for it on pods. Like, calm down, Ed. It's okay. It's fine. Favorite mottos and how they represent in the lore their faction, right? So mottos, war cries, sayings, same kind of thing, right? So these are fantastic. I started the last one, buddy. So would you like to start?
Yeah, I'll start this one.
This I would like to know from the community, please. Just, you don't even have to like give any explanation. Just post your favourite mottos at the bottom, and we'll respond to them and tell you if you think they're good or bad. So go
this
for it,
one
Ed. What's your first?
Is a little sort of like back and forth like war cry that I absolutely love from the salamanders. And they say, the commander will say, "Into the fires of battle." And the battle brothers will all respond, "Unto the anvil of war." It's such a great, like, oh. Can you imagine just hearing that chant back and forth? You'd be like, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it really fits their theme because they're all about that, like, flame and that toughness of the anvil. It's just, yeah. Salamanders are cool.
Love that. Like, and also relates to this from a lore perspective. The salamanders, of course, on two fronts. Number one, they're like fetish for like fiery weapons, right? Because of their home world, right? So like they love it, and also the fact that they're all forge masters, right? They all like create weapons in the depth of the forge. So like to have that be part of their culture in terms of like a creative and destructive form is like really cool. Actually, like I never knew that. Like that was I never knew the salamanders.
It's a cool one, isn't it?
Like war cry. Like
probably a lesser known war cry, but I think it's a really cool one.
Yeah, that is really fun. Actually, that's really cool. So mine's a bit more mainstream for my first one, but for me, I would actually argue that this is the greatest war cry slaying of all time, because for me, you just hear it and you get it. You get what the faction's about, you get what it's all about, and it is blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
Got a semi after that. It's so good, isn't it?
Dude, I'm not the biggest Khorne fan ever, right? Although I think he is arguably the most powerful, both physically and influentially, Chaos God, right? People are like, Zinch is the most powerful. I'm like, fuck off, trolly bird man. What I know, I hate Zinch. But Khorne, this personifies Khorne, right?
Yeah.
Like you get everything in there. So blood for the blood god obviously insinuates the fact that it's very obvious. Blood's going to be spilled, death's going to be spilled, war's going to be spilled. He's a god of these things, so he's like the personification of these things. But the next one is even more. Skulls for the skull throne. Like, how metal is that?
He just sits on this fucking massive throne of skulls.
Throne of skulls.
Khorne always wins, no matter who's fighting, right? Because there's always going to be blood and death, and like that, he's a basic bitch because it's basic principles. But like that's all he needs. It's kind of nice.
That's all he needs. It's a bit of
it's
fighting.
Simple.
You know what you're getting with Khorne.
You do,
And as you say, he always does win because whenever there's a battle, his influence always, even if he's not on the winning side of it, he always wins because the fight's happening in the first place.
And people are throwing themselves away for him. He's like, great, more,
bring it on. More skulls, please.
Beautiful.
More skulls.
What's not to fucking love?
Me and you love this artwork of him, like on that beautiful, awesome artwork
the big
of him
shadow.
just being a G, just the shadow of it, and like
glowing eyes.
Constantly. Can you imagine him just sat on that and like every day, every mortal day, as far as we perceive mortal time, right? It'd just be constant, endless war, just in front of him, just as his television. He's like there having his coffee. Like every race and every faction is assembled in front of him, just constantly fighting. And there might be like new champions around. He's like, interesting. It's like, and and we've already discussed like Scarbrand going for the throne and him just essentially flicking him and him like being cast aeons like in the process.
Did I tell you about? I think it's Tuskar Demon Killer. Have you heard about this?
No.
This is a really cool Khorne story. I did a short on this one as well. Go and watch it.
Wow.
It's a good one.
So basically, bring on. I'm ready for story time.
It's about this orc, and I think what basically in essence happens is his ship gets the Gellerfields on.
I have heard of this. This guy is
awesome. They get
awesome.
an invasion of demons on the ship, and he has so much fun killing these demons that he basically decides to fly past Cadia into the Eye of Terror. Like all of the guardsmen are like, "What the fuck? What was that?"
I know this.
And then he goes into the Eye of Terror, and he basically just starts going on a fucking rampage, just killing demons on demon-infested worlds in the Eye of Terror. And eventually, he has this battle with this demon prince, and like it's like a proper big old battle. I think he's like a demon prince of Khorne or something, and he basically gets killed by this demon prince. But as he's like dying from this mortal wound, he reaches up with his power claw and basically just rips the demon prince's bollocks off the demon prince and like crushes his entire pelvic region. And then obviously they sort of die. And then Khorne's like, hold the fuck up a minute.
Oh,
that was cool. So he reanimates him and his entire group of orcs, like his warband, and basically just lets them fight demons endlessly and then regenerate over day after day after day, just in front of Khorne, so you can just watch them.
I think that's in front of his like in his like gladiatorial arena,
like
right?
His pet orcs.
Love that.
So it's just it's like orc heaven. It literally is orc heaven. It's such a cool idea.
The orcs love it. They're like, bring it on.
Fucking, like comes back to life and he's like, yes, more blood. It's like, fucking love that story. It's such a Warhammer story. God damn it.
I know that technically, like, orcs are kind of like obviously a bit immune to Chaos's like corruption, but
are they?
I would love to do I'd love to do a red orc army of like
I've thought about a red orc
orcs.
army as well.
See, great minds,
genuinely
great minds.
Yeah.
So cool. It's very
you've got like in World of Warcraft,
well.
You've got these like red fell corrupted orcs, and it's the same sort of concept in my mind. Like having these sort of blood orcs would be really cool. Get me going.
But there we go. Awesome. That was love Khorne. Khorne's cool. Yeah, he is cool. I like him.
Like Blood for the Blood God is such a good shout. So my next one is another classic. Iron Within, Iron Without. I mean, what's not to love? I think that's one of the most well-known ones as well. Like,
dude.
It's just a great line, right? It really just like conceptualizes the Legion as well, doesn't it? Like you can just see that there are bastards, and I love that.
I mean, it personifies Perturabo and the Iron Warriors perfectly.
It really does.
It's the grimness of their service.
Yeah,
it's not heroic. It's not like heroic. It is almost like they're machines as well. It's almost like they're like there is no like heroism in it. It's not inspiring. It's like this is what we are. We are like a tool in the machine of like the Iron Warriors. That it's just like this is it, man. The
one word that kind of conjures up in my mind is just inevitable. Like that's what they feel like they are just this slow, inevitable march forwards. Like you just cannot. They don't go down. And you're just like, when this hits me, it's going to be, problem. But yeah, I do love that. Iron Warriors one's really cool.
I think the community has a lot of respect for the Iron Warriors, even if they're not your favourites. Like, because when we did, check it out if anyone wants to see, we did our best and worst Space Marine Legions, and neither one of us have like expressed great love for the Iron Warriors in the past, but they came in like number 4 or number 5, and we were both like, wow, like
they were really high up there.
Yeah, just because I think they have the respect, like cred.
Yeah, they are
like,
cool.
Iron Warriors, cool.
They also look wicked on the tabletop.
Back to you, good sir. Yeah, cool. That was great. I love that one, mate. That's fantastic. Got to go with the space commies for the greater good.
That's a classic.
For the greater good. Personifies the town. Like this with their symbol of the circle within the circle, the greater good. Like like Hot Fuzz. Like
it's very Hot Fuzz for me.
I can't do a Bristol accent or whatever. The greater good, love it. Always love that as a saying. Personifies the Tau of their optimism. It's like it's optimistic.
Yeah, the USS Enterprise, basically, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And also the concept of like you being a part of something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Where like that kind of completely stipulates their whole concept of and that really goes with their philosophy. Like you can't imagine the Tau without that. Yeah. Like saying, like for me they're entrenched together. Right? It can be quite sacrificial, self-sacrificial. It can be quite glorious in terms of like a concept. Very optimistic in a very unoptimistic and very sort of nihilistic setting, right? And whether you like the Tau or don't like the Tau, I think that is a great saying. What do you think about it?
No, I love it. I do think, like you said, it kind of exemplifies their entire creed, really, doesn't it? So I think it's a really good saying. It's a classic again, a bit like Iron Within, Iron Without. Like everyone will bring that up pretty quick. My last one, I mean, if we're talking about war cries, it's basically the ultimate one, and it's one that I'm sure you've heard events or at your local store. It's always a bit fucking cringe, But it's also
mega cringe.
It's mega cringe
So
when it happens.
You're gonna do it.
I'm just gonna. It's just when you go.
You're gonna make a phone call.
I moved back from the microphone there.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, I think like the wah, from the Orcs, it's an absolute fucking classic. You can't not bring it up. We're talking about
the one
mottos
weird one though that if you're not into the hobby, because I've seen like normies get freaked out by wahs, where they've either been partners or kids that come to events, right, that like spend time with their other halves or parents or whatever, and then they come to events, and then at some random table, some fucking orc player has gone like "wah" at the top of their voice, and then freak them out, and they're just like, "What the hell?"
Everyone
is going
just like
on?
turns around. Like I've seen it before, where there's been like a tournament going on in the same room as like a group of like people playing Magic the Gathering, and all the Magic the Gathering players are like, "What the fuck is going on next door?" No, it's funny.
Like they're actually killing each other. Like they're actually they've gone over
like what's his name from Tabletop War Games Live? He I don't know if he still does it, but he used to do like a rating out of 10 every time someone in the background of the event did like a wah, which is quite fun. I thought.
I know how it can piss people off.
They banned it.
No.
Yeah.
What do you mean they banned it?
If you wah at a UKTC event now, a judge will probably come over and tell you off. You might get a yellow card for that now. Seriously, I didn't hear a single person at LGT Nope. This last LGT, I've heard them every time before.
Part of that entire umbrella? That's like an umbrella like rule, is it?
I like the way you say umbrella. Umbrella. You put an extra syllable in there. I love that. It's like my grandma. She used to say comfortable.
You can stop that right now because
umbrella.
Yeah, if only you knew the words that I can say weird. Umbrella.
I do know a few of them. I'm not going to put you on the spot. But yeah, they banned it.
What, across all of their events?
Yeah, across all their events. Yeah.
Terrible. Don't get me wrong. Okay, it's mega cringe. It's mega disruptive.
No, it is.
But it is a massive part of the culture. Yeah. And if you're an orc player, that's what you live for, bro. That's like what you live for. There are a lot of
people who don't like sudden loud noises that go to these events, which I can understand. But like, I think banning it is a little bit maybe too far. Or like yellow carding you for it. I don't know.
I guess where do you draw the line, right? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you draw the line at like a soft wah or like a, do you know what I mean? Like, or a slightly louder wah?
What you need to do is just get like when you make your Gaz model, you need to put like like you get birthday cards that play a sound. You need to get like a button on the back of the Gaz model, and you just press the button and it goes whoa like that, and then it's like a quiet one.
You can make it like really like overtly effeminate or something like wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that the TC
I think they have,
community banned it. That's fucking wild.
Madness, isn't it?
Wow.
But no, it's a classic choice.
The animalistic primal. No. Just to finish that off, the animalistic primal traits of the orcs are completely personified in that. Right? There's no highbrow anything to it. It personifies them absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So, I cannot be a loyalist, although I say that in inverted commas now because I'm walking the dark path and I'm scared.
You are, yeah.
I'm scared.
God, I'm worried for you.
What chaotic treats are being tempted to me? My God, when you see me at an event in the future and I'm playing chaos, that's when you know I've truly fallen. But in my heart, and you can see it above, I am a Dark Angels boy to my absolute core. So there's technically two. One is the what? Go on. No, go on.
There's this meme of this guy, and it's like I can't remember what the meme's called, but like it's like I could just imagine you doing it. It's like you picture of Lorgar, and you're like no, and then it's like no, like it's just, I can't remember what the meme's called, but it's just so like you with Chaos Space Marine. You're like don't tempt me. It's so good.
It's what I secretly crave. And there are two Dark Angel sayings that I love. 130k one and 140k one because I'm that much of a pretentious Dark Angels douchebag. One is very simple, but I just love the chant of it because you can just imagine being exterminated to this. And it's a 30k saying for the Dark Angels. And it is, we are the Dreadwing, we are death. That's the chant that they do as they eradicate your whole world. Because the Dreadwing are obviously the are the executioners, the OG executioners of the Hexanogrammaton, the 6 wings of the Dark Angels from 30k.
Yeah.
And their job is war crimes, essentially, and genocide, which is fucked up. But their whole when they eradicate you and everyone that you've ever loved, we are the Dreadwing, we are death. But the modern one, which I love, which to me personifies the Dark Angels, repent, for tomorrow you die.
Oh, brilliant. Love that. Shivers.
Love it. Repent, for tomorrow you die. What does that give you immediate imagery of, Ed?
Mostly old Asmodai just like bonk.
This is it.
That's what it gives me mental images of. Like, I just love the image of like, okay, just bear with me, hear me out for a second. Like, getting the head for this, right? So you just imagine like this sort of like prisoner strapped down, right? Like in his loinclothicles on a table in this like pitch dark room. He's just like lit by a single spotlight. There's just nothing. And then all of a sudden you see this sort of smoky haze with these 2 like red embers glowing. And then into the light steps this smoking form of Asmodai with all this sort of, because he's got that like wispy kind of smoke billowing off of him. And like he just stands there massive over you. Like, and he just, he starts like doing this with, because he's got the what's that weapon he's got called, the little whippy sort of hand thing, I can't remember what it's called, but he's got that as well as his main weapon, isn't it? Tell me.
It's like torture devices. I can't remember.
So he's got like his little torture rack coming out. You'd shit your pants. You would.
It's like the Blades of Absolution or something.
Yeah,
it's like the
something
Blades
like that. I'll have to look it up. But it's something like that. But they Blades of Reason.
Blades of Reason.
I feel like it's the Blades of Reason. So anyway, like that.
As a Dark Angels player,
Asmodai is probably one of the most terrifying Space Marines of all time. Honestly,
you better not laugh around him.
Chaplain of all chaplains, he is, because chaplains are usually grim fuckers, right? They're like you don't fuck around with chaplains.
They're either I consider them either to be quite mentoring and glorious, right? Where they're like there to lift your spirits, right? Or and they're there to like put the fear of God or the God Emperor into your enemies, right? So I think they're both.
With the skull mask.
Kind of both. So cool. Great. Everyone loves a chaplain. If you don't love a chaplain, you're dead inside. I'm sorry.
What are you doing with
chaplains
your life?
are the best. See, just thinking about chaplains is making me more loyal. I'm like looking at my traitorous Marines and going, what am I doing? Like just thinking about being a chaplain. I'm like, for the Emperor! Like I'm just like there, just in there, like immediately. Wow, chaplains.
You're just lying in bed, like just thinking about Asmodai, and then all of a sudden you hear this whispering.
Join us, we're powerful.
Join us, rats.
You can have all the tough Marines you ever wanted. Like we're all tough here.
Do you hear the voices too?
They have big old guns, apparently. Like that freaked you out. You're like, oh my god. But yeah, repent, for tomorrow you die, and also obviously highlighting the fallen, right, and the fact that like interrogated chaplains, it kind of like gives you a bit of a nod to like that darkness, that they're like obviously hunting the fallen, right, and trying to find out where other fallen are.
So cool.
Great, love it. I couldn't not, being a Dark Angels fanboy. I couldn't not. I'm sorry, everybody. Hashtag not sorry. But there we go. Yeah. But like I said, really important here. Please let us know your favourites, because I am this one I am genuinely curious about. Just stick them down. Just spam them. Just spam them to us. Yeah. Just spam them. It doesn't matter if they're the same. I'm just curious, like what your favourite like war cries / mottos are. Please.
There's loads. There's loads.
Oh, so many. So many. Hundreds. Literally hundreds. Yeah. So there you go.
That's some really good ones. Nice.
Now, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ed, my glorious and beautiful co-host.
Thank you, Russ, my equally glorious and beautiful co-host as well. It's been a pleasure as always, and we're looking forward to doing the special. We will be putting that out very soon as well. So look forward to that one.
Aye. Ciao, everybody.
Bye. Ciao, guys. See you in the next one.
Bye.